This is the Sports Porch, Philadelphia, with your hosts, the Grand Schwabini, Rube, and me, your technical director. Come on, Philly, show us a little Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, and Sixers love. The Philadelphia Sports Porch starts now.
All right, Ruby.
Suave.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in to the Sports Porch Philadelphia. If you are on X, please follow us. If you are on Facebook, please like and follow us. If you are on YouTube, go to Sports Porch Philadelphia on YouTube and subscribe to us. Rube, this game just flat out stunk. It just stunk, man. They, everything that the Eagles tried to do to put themselves in position to make another run at the Super Bowl essentially failed, right? They could have played for the 2 seed, and what happened? If they would have got the 2 seed, they would have had the Packers, which would have been the easier game, right? Instead, we get the 49ers. And look, I'll give some credit to Shanahan today because he absolutely outcoached our Eagles. So we had to play a better team today. They got outcoached. Lane Johnson wasn't ready to start anyway today. And the bottom line is the Eagles were what they were, right?
Yep.
They couldn't find the offense all year long. They couldn't find it today. A.J. Brown was awful in this game. Rube, your thoughts?
Ditto. I mean, listen, we saw the same team today that we saw for the 17 weeks previously. They played one half of offense. They showed no creativity at all on the offensive side of the ball. The line was okay. We gave up on the run. We gave up on A.J. Brown in the second half, right? Why not just even a little screenplay to let him get hit and get into the game in the second half after having a tough first half? Just nothing went right. So we got what we saw the previous 17 weeks, which just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I almost found myself at the end of this game saying, better that it happened now, because I just saw no route to the Eagles winning further in the playoffs the way they were playing.
Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered who they played. You started off your remarks with who they played, and the fact of the matter is I think we actually got the team we wanted to play, and it wouldn't have mattered whether we played the 49ers, the Giants, the Commanders, or anybody else in the entire NFL. The offense lacks creativity. Our playmakers didn't show up. About the only offensive player that showed up today, Barkley showed up. He got some good runs.
Yeah.
But again, we say it every week. Thank God for Goddard.
Right.
Because nobody else caught the ball. This Dotson guy, A.J. Brown disappeared. Devontae must have been nicked up because we didn't try throwing him the ball.
Although he caught a couple passes on the last drive.
Who did? Devontae?
Yeah.
So, but A.J. dropped the ball, which he'll make that catch 1,000
By the way,
times.
everybody, certainly list your comments. We'll put your comments up. We appreciate them. Amy May says the play calling sucked. Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. Bad.
Didn't you kind of think maybe it wasn't going to be our day after Jake mixed the extra point at the beginning?
It wasn't really so much when Jake missed the extra point. It was more like when we were kicking field goals in the second half and we couldn't, like when those 2 long passes, when A.J. Brown dropped one of them and didn't even get his hands on the other one. What I would say is look, I mean, when we're a Super Bowl team, A.J. Brown catches everything. Impossible catches over the shoulder, keeping his feet in bounds. I don't know what it was, but A.J. Brown, for whatever reason, he just didn't have it this year. And I would also say, they're gonna make nothing of it, but that little spat between Sirianni and A.J. Brown certainly didn't help, did it? Because he
It
didn't have
felt
his head in the game in the second half.
not at all. Not at all. And there's a more productive way to do it. And all the things that we've gotten away with in the previous, Super Bowl runs, we're able to overcome those. And we weren't. And you saw the immaturity of the coach. You saw the immaturity of the player. Um, I don't know how you defend keeping Kevin Patullo at this point.
Well, you
Um,
can't. You can't.
it's
So
it's
that's
just
good.
it's pathetic. So let's assume that they fire Patullo.
Mhm.
Now this is going to be what, offensive coordinator number 5 million for for
Right.
Hertz,
Right.
and not fair to him. But I don't think he played his best game either today. Just all around bad game. And let me tell you something else. For you tip your hat to the 49ers. They played a very good game. Purdy, despite a couple of interceptions, made some very, very good throws at opportune times. McCaffrey was a beast, and you called that, right? We didn't
Mhm.
contain McCaffrey. And you know what? We didn't spy Purdy either. Every time he got past our pass rush, it was a 10-yard run. So, I think that's number one. Number two is I think our defense played okay, but I'll tell you what, Reed Blankenship played an awful, awful game.
Oh
Um,
my god.
the
Yeah.
penalty, the trick play, not staying with McCaffrey on the trick play,
Yeah.
the first drive, we all look bad and they kind of knocked us on our heels. But there's there it's just disappointing. I think that what I keep coming back to, Schwabi, is I don't know what we were expecting based on the body of work that we saw this year. I don't think it was fair to think that we were going to put two halves of offense together when we haven't done it in 17 games. And
Well,
so,
you're right. I mean, look, we talked about on our Tuesday night show, which, by the way, everybody, tune in every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, to watch Sports Porch Philadelphia. Myself, the Grand Schwalbini, and Rube will be talking all things Philadelphia sports, and it'll probably be a lot more Sixers and Flyers from this point forward. Um, we talked about it on Tuesday night, right? I basically said, look, this team has been sort of coasting through the regular season, not really motivated to go out and hammer teams, just sort of trying to get by, get to the playoffs, and then turn it on. And I said, we'll see if they can turn it on or not. And they did not turn it on. It was off all year long,
it
right?
was. It was.
They
It
they
was
didn't
not that
they
they
didn't
didn't
turn it
look like
on.
they didn't look like the Super Bowl champs. And I think you said it perfectly. Honestly, you should just drop the mic. Everything that we tried to do in the offseason, um, to try and be back-to-back uh, Super Bowl winners
Mhm.
didn't work. Didn't work.
Right.
So,
We got a comment from Steve DeFletch. He says, "Trade AJ to the Steelers for whatever defensive guy you want. We are used to headaches at wide receiver."
and Pittsburgh has to come up again on one of our shows.
It does. It
Yeah,
does.
we have lots of time in the off season to talk about what we're going to do
Yeah.
and not do. I
Yeah, but
think,
let's just
yeah,
talk about, just like, in all honesty, I mean, I'm not expecting him to be back next year, but who the hell knows, right? Um, but let's just talk about, he was really bad today. Really bad.
he was
I
bad.
mean, my God. I mean, like, for example, if he catches either one of those bombs that, the first one, he didn't really make a play on the ball. The second one went off his fingertips. He makes either one of those plays, we probably get a two-score lead, and this game's basically over, you know?
Yeah,
Um, we were just kinda sitting there the whole second half, just like, "Just get a touchdown and the game's over. Just get a
yeah.
touchdown and the game's over." Um, And they went weak, they went conservative. I mean, look, I guess you had to take the points and go up 19-17, but still at 4th and 3 there. I mean, did you really think that the 49ers weren't going to score in some way, shape, or form after that? I did. I thought they would.
Yeah, hard to tell, right? Easy to armchair quarterback. But if they didn't get it and didn't take it, we would have said, why didn't you take it and play defense? Your defense has been carrying you the whole year. The defense
Yeah.
played a very, a good game, not a great game today, right? I don't think we touched Purdy more than once or twice. So a lot of opportunity to figure some things out. I think Jalen Carter didn't really show up today.
He did have 1 sack though.
Yeah, and he fell. Purdy.
But
That was Phillips's play. He just fell right into him. So
yeah, how about this though? And some look. I'm not making this about the refs because the Eagles certainly deserve to lose this game. But I mean, come on. Are you telling me that how many Eagles drives were killed by a holding call? Whereas the 49ers weren't penalized the whole freaking game. Like they're that perfect. Come on, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
They had to been holding some of our guys who were trying to get to the quarterback. That's just insane. They didn't get a single call today.
They got one call that should have made the difference in the game, and it was a BS call. The roughing on Hurts was a BS call, right?
That's true. That's true. That one call.
That was the one call we got, and if I'm San Francisco, I'm saying the same thing. Listen, you can't. At the end of the day, you can't leave it up to referee calls. You got to win it on the field. So I put no credibility in that. I think it's just we just listen. We got out coached. We got outplayed. We got out everything. We got out hustled. We got out. They wanted it more. And whatever you want to say about them and their defense, they certainly shut us down. And again, who hasn't shut us down for at least one half this year?
And how about Tom Brady? Just I have to tell you, we've been talking before about how I think he's probably the best broadcaster out there, which is kind of amazing that you go from greatest quarterback of all time to, on the road to the greatest broadcaster. But I'm telling you, like he was right. Like every single time in the second half, he was just like, "All right, you got them on their heels. Go tempo." You know what I mean? And we just never did it. Never did it. Never did it. I mean, yeah, it's just a bummer, man. It's a shame. I mean, like, come on, like Quinyon Mitchell has 2 interceptions in a game, and we get 3 points off that. I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, here's the good news, right? So listen, it's time to if we start thinking past the season, we've got our defense in place, and everybody comes back next year, as far as I know. You got to go figure out the offense, and I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know if it's Cliff Kingsbury or if it's whomever else got fired this offseason.
Oh, wouldn't that be great if they could get Cliff Kingsbury?
Well, but what has Cliff Kingsbury done?
Well,
he's a name. Listen, he's a name, and he's like a Kellen Moore type. Say.
Well, but like, what has Shanahan done? Shanahan's never won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Look, there's all kinds of offensive gurus, and I think Cliff Kingsbury is one. I mean, look, when he had that Commanders team last year with Jaden Daniels healthy, that was a hell of an offense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, we at least know he can call a hell of an offense for a year with good talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know he's creative, right? But to be honest, I have to think that Clinsbury or whatever his name is, I think he's just out there because he wants to become a head coach. That's my thinking. So we have to kind of wait through all these head coaching things.
Yeah, we'll see. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But again, I'm not totally surprised. I don't think you are either. I think we were hopeful. I think we got the draw that we probably was the best draw. You look, Green Bay played a good game last night. Their offense looked decent last night. They missed their tight end, and they probably need another wide receiver. But all that to say, they they lost Kittle halfway through the game. I don't know what else could have gone right for us in terms of having more talented players on paper on the field, and they just beat us. They flat out beat us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but at the same time, though, I mean, I would also say that I would put more of the beating us on San Francisco's coaching
Mm-hmm.
versus the Eagles' coaching.
Yep.
I think our talent is better than theirs offensively and defensively. Look, I'm not gonna say anything bad about Vic Fangio because he's been amazing. Um, but offensively, I mean, we just put nothing out there. I
Yeah.
mean,
The whole season, the
there
offense
was
the offense was offensive the entire season.
it was.
Offensive.
It was offensive. Hey, by the way, everybody, thanks for watching. Listen, we got comments flooding in. A lot of people watching on X. We're really happy to have you here. Make sure you follow us on X. Also, go over to YouTube, click on Philadelphia Sports Porch, and hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you be part of our YouTube community as well. And over in the side, put down some comments and we will try to address them. We will put them on the board. Um, you know, uh,
What do you do? What do you do?
what can
What do
you
you do?
say, man? I mean, think about it. Like, all right, um, AJ Brown was terrible. Um, the offensive line was average at best. Um, and you know what? And let also too, like, let's not kid ourselves here, okay? It's also, I believe, the thing that the Eagles do, the overconfidence, right? The we don't need to play for the 2 seed because we're fine playing whoever the heck we play. We just want people to be healthy, right? Um, Here's another bit of arrogance. Now I can't say this for sure. I mean, maybe Lane Johnson had a setback this week or this morning or whatever. I guarantee you they thought they could win this game without him and they didn't play him. I
Yeah.
guarantee you.
I had heard that he had a setback and he was having some pain. So it wouldn't surprise me if what you said is true. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I don't know if you're going to go on a run, you probably are going to need him to be at his healthiest. And yeah, maybe there was some overconfidence playing against a beat up team at home. But
Mhm.
listen, maybe in the long run, perhaps as we think over the next couple of years, uh, this will put a little fire in our belly and perhaps kill a little bit of that overconfidence. But we
Yeah,
got we
hopefully.
got we weren't the same team as last year, and we clearly are not the best team in the NFL this year. And so, good luck to that. Now, all that being said, I think all the games have been great this weekend and fun to watch. Probably more fun than this game, but the other games have been good, and the NFL's got parity, and we can't rest on our laurels. We're going to have to figure out how to go do something different. What is that different going to be going into next year? Clearly, it's going to have to be on the offensive side of the ball. What does that look like? What does the offensive line look like? What's happened? What'll happen with our wide receivers? Can we get a decent wide receiver 3? All good questions that we're going to have to consider. But here we are, and we kind of got what was coming to us, at least as far as I think we could both agree on that.
Yeah, I think we can get a first rounder for AJ Brown from New England because his boy over there, Vrabel, is so in love with him.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd
it's
I'd
just
do
it's
it.
it,
I'd
it's
do it
just
because I think you need 2 first rounders right now. You need an offensive lineman, somebody, let's say, who you feel like can play right tackle, but also if Lane gives us another year or 2, they can slide in and maybe take over for Tyler Steen.
yeah.
And I also think, depending on what happens with A.J. Brown, you could also potentially use a first-round receiver or a first-round corner. Although, Adoree Jackson, as the year went on, ended up not doing too bad for himself.
Adoree Jackson isn't the reason that we are
No.
going home to play golf, that's for sure. But I don't know how much he's got left in his tank. One of the things that Brady did say, and I agree, I think he's been an awesome commentator. One thing he did say was, we're I don't know if we're last or close to last in yards after catch, but how do you go solve that? How do you go get a weapon with yards after catch? Now, part of it is the way that Hurts throws the ball. He tends to not lead people. He tends to throw it in their gut, which is fine for a first down, but it doesn't create explosive plays. And we got to figure out how we're going to go create explosive plays again on offense, not name Saquon Barkley.
I don't know if I agree with that completely. I think he throws a pretty good deep ball. It wasn't as good this year as in other years, I'll say that, but I think he throws a pretty good deep ball. I mean, look, the fourth down play that he threw to Goddard was leading him perfectly. He
Yeah.
got about 5 yards after. I think, look, and sometimes you have to throw the ball in different spots. How many times did Brady say, "That's a perfect throw by Purdy. It's got to be thrown slightly behind him. Otherwise, Bond's going to step in front of it." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's hard.
but you also look at the other three big plays they had. They had 20-yard passes that went for 50.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen for us this year. Our long plays are throw it deep and make a great catch, not hit someone on a slant and they go. And so I think that's something we're going to have to go figure out how to go address.
All right, fair enough, Rube. Now, Steve DeFlitch says, sometimes the other team just wants it more, not enough drive because you won it last year. Do you agree or disagree?
I don't think it's that they didn't want it. I think we just got outplayed and out schemed. I really do. I doubt people in that locker room are like, well, I can't wait to go play golf, or I'm just about done this season. Maybe A.J. Brown was, but listen, we can call it. They wanted it more. We can call it, the referees, whatever. To me, that's just excuses. We got out executed, and that's the bottom line.
What do you think? Do we bring in competition for Jake Elliott next year?
It pains me to say it. It pains me to say it. If this was the first year that it was problematic, I would say, But yeah, he was just bad this year, and I think at some point, I don't know how old the guy is, but at some point you got to go make changes. You can't win the Super Bowl. You can't keep going back to the playoffs with the same old every year. And it's been a nice run, but at some point you got to make changes and you have to evolve. And we'll see if they have the gumption to go evolve and to go make big changes, because they're going to have to. What do you think?
What's the question?
Yeah, Jake Elliott.
Jake Elliott.
Yeah.
See, I wanted to not think about him as quickly as I could. Well, in all honesty, if I'm the Eagles, sure, I'll bring somebody into camp, but at the same time, the way things are with kickers, they go through these little, time spats where they stink. And then all of a sudden everything starts clicking again. Like it wouldn't shock me at all. Like if they get rid of Jake Elliott, it wouldn't shock me at all if he goes to another team and makes like 97% of his kicks next year. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think, look, you might as well just keep him. I mean, look, fortunately, his extra point actually didn't cost him the game.
No.
But it never hurts. It never hurts to have another guy that you're evaluating, just like Dicker the kicker. You gotta put somebody in the preseason, just at least see if they can make some kicks, and so you have another option out there. But
Well,
I don't know. I mean, It's really sucks. It really sucks because, we were looking forward to diving into, what the matchup might be like against the Bears. But I'll tell you what we saw today, there's no way in hell they could have beat the Bears playing like this.
No. And there's some exciting young teams out there, and they were fun to watch. Not perfect by any stretch. So we've had this amazing run, or what 3 Super Bowls in 7 years or something, whatever the numbers are.
Mm-hmm.
But like any great company or any great team, you're going to have to make changes, and you can't be afraid to make changes, and hopefully they're the right ones. And it's time to start looking forward, and because clearly we've become very predictable. Now, it's great to have a predictably good defense, but when your offense is predictable and is inconsistent, and probably the nicest thing I could call it as our offense is, that's why we lost.
Yeah, there's just no scheming. I mean, look, there's no way. I mean, look, the offensive line was completely the same with the exception of Mekhi Becton, right?
Mhm.
And I guess, Lane missed like the last third of the year. But and it's true. I mean, Juergens and Dickerson were injured, on and off through the whole year. But still, let's just say for the most part, it's the same exact guys, right? And we know that they've got a world-class offensive line coach and run game coordinator in Stoutland. So to me, the only thing that was different about running the ball last year to this year was Kellen Moore versus, our current OC, Patullo. Look, I just can't explain it how Saquon Barkley could get 3 yards without being touched last year, and this year he's being blown up in the backfield like every single time.
Because in the NFL, it's very, very difficult to have success 2 years in a row because everybody will be scheming for that. And everybody also knows how dependent we were and our identity is on our run game, or with our run game. So it doesn't surprise me that Barkley didn't run for 2,000 yards again. Shame on all those other teams if they let us do the same thing that we did last year. So it keeps going back to, you got to evolve. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting it to work, or expecting different results when it doesn't work. So anyway, I see we have a lot of viewers out there. Thanks for joining us on the Sports Porch. We'd love to get your comments, get your feeling, get your thoughts. Are the Grand Schwabini and I overreacting? Are we underreacting? What say you? Let us know. Hit us up on comments. So let me ask you this, Schwabi.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I know it's not going to happen, but how much of this failure this year is on Sirianni? And has he, despite the success, has he kind of has his shtick kind of gotten old with you?
I mean, look, I don't like the way he is. I don't like his demeanor. I don't like the way he yells in the tunnels after games. I don't like the way he yells at players during the game. I mean, like fiery is good, but there's also too much. So I'm not. I mean, look, I'm not crazy about him, but I also I can't. I mean, when a guy's been to 5 consecutive playoff appearances and 2 Super Bowls with a win in the last 5 years, I'm not moving on from him, right?
Yep.
The difficult thing for the Eagles is that when you have a head coach that doesn't call the plays and you're a good team, then your offensive coordinator is just up for the taking every single year. And so we saw it with Shane Steichen, we saw it with Kellen Moore, right? Now we got to go find another one for next year. I mean, look, to be honest with you, this is the ultimate job for Cliff Kingsbury. You know, take a team that has no creativity on offense, but basically has a Pro Bowler at almost every position, right? Help them win another Super Bowl, and then you will definitely be a head coach the next year. You know what I mean? Like that's the perfect thing. Now, and let's just just dream about if that happened, right? If that happened, then we'd be shit out of luck again for the next year. We've got to find the next guy, right?
What do you do? You almost kind of need, like, I forget who the guy is from Baltimore. It was like Todd Monken. Is that the offensive coordinator for the Ravens? I'm sure they all got fired. What you need is like another Jim Johnson or like another Fangio, where you
like
got
Fangio.
someone who doesn't need to be a head coach anymore, who's got experience, who can get the most out of this offense, and would like to, be an offensive coordinator the rest of their career, with a team that's got a ton of talent.
Right.
So I don't know who that is. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Amy May said they needed to put Big Dom into the game. By the way, do you know who had as many catches as A.J. Brown in this game? Big Dom.
Big Dom did.
You see the Big Dom catch on the sideline? I mean, and Big Dom also had another nice assist getting in between Sirianni and A.J. Brown.
Sometimes we're so good, and sometimes we're the freaking bad news bears. And today, unfortunately, we were the bad news bears. And
just a little update for those of you interested. In the fourth quarter, with 3:44 to go, the 76ers are leading the Toronto Raptors 99-95. Big game for Maxey with 27. And he's really the only one who's had a big game today. So we shall see how that pans out. But Sixers are playing some good ball.
It's a big game. Yeah, we'll talk more about that on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a comment from one of our listeners from DeFlitch47.
What does DeFlitch say? He says, this team was never going back to back. Lost an offensive coordinator, headaches at wide receiver, too many key injuries. Well, yeah, I mean, you can't really. I can't disagree with that. I mean, look, the way that I look at it is, as far as just the talent on the field, forget about how it's coached. The talent on the field, in my mind, was good enough talent to run it back and win again. Not saying it's going to be easy. I mean, a lot of teams with a lot of good talent, but I think they had enough talent to win again. They just didn't. They just didn't. That's why it's hard to be the Kansas City Chiefs, or
or any other team. Go ahead.
Or the New England Patriots. I'll go there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about. I mean, it's hard to do that.
I would tell you this too. Yeah, we've had injuries on the offensive line, and I think we all agree that the key to is winning in the trenches. But if you think about our skill players, Hurts played every game this season minus the one that we decided to play McKee. A.J. Brown played every game this season. Yeah, Devontae played every game this season. Saquon played every game this season. Goddard, I think, played almost every game this season. Yeah. Bullshit on the injuries. If those guys are supposed to be, the best at what they do, and everyone's fearful of our wide receivers and our passing game, then they have to execute it. So, yeah, couple tough injuries, but again, I think that's just an excuse. All respect to everyone who wants to say that. I just think we had a terrible offensive scheme, and unfortunately, that was what was not going to win us back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive scheme was bad. I mean, like, when you've got my wife watching the game and saying, why don't they throw it in the middle? Or why aren't they throwing it to Goddard when A.J. Brown drops every pass? It's, when my wife is saying stuff like that, it's clear to the naked eye that they're not doing things right.
Yeah.
So just a big disappointment. We talked about all the problems all year long. One of the things that I think stood out that made the most sense to me was when I brought up Seth Joyner and his commentary that there's no play setting up the next play. You know, and you could just see it. I mean, there was just and too many like cowardly plays as well. You know what I mean? Like I remember there was one play in the first half where it was like 3rd and 5 and like we're going to run for it. Why? Just see if we can get it to 4th and 1 so we can tush push for it. Like what? Like why can't we just throw it 5 yards with all the guys we have?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I just hate that kind of garbage. How about the what would you call it? The ironicness of
The
the
irony.
buffalo of the irony. There you go.
You're distraught. It's
Right,
okay.
right,
It's okay. You're
right,
distraught.
right,
Yeah.
right. How about the irony of the Buffalo Bills who were such cowards saying that they should ban the tush push, and today they basically won the game on maybe one of the greatest tush pushes of all time.
I didn't see the game. It's the
Oh, you
one
didn't
game I
see the game?
didn't see. It's the one game I didn't see this
Oh,
weekend.
they either had a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1 at, like, I'm gonna say, like, the 7 or 8-yard line, and Allen tush pushed it all the way into the end zone for a touchdown. That was their game-winning touchdown.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, you know?
Let me
You're
let
like,
me.
"Oh, I'm so concerned about player safety, yet I use the play 10 times a game." You know what I mean?
What was it gonna?
It's good
So
to
let
see
me.
we had the tush push going better again today, though.
It did look better. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this. So now that the Eagles are out, who you putting your money on?
Mm. See, this is a tough thing. It's nice that I do live in Pittsburgh because my wife's a big Steelers fan, and I can now root for the Steelers. Um, but like aside from that, like I'll root for the Steelers, but look, I love the games and I watch all the games, but like right now, I'm in sort of like a mourning grieving phase.
I can't even watch tonight. I got to
Yeah,
figure out what else I'm gonna watch.
I'm not gonna watch tonight's game. I might put on like the last like 10 minutes or something, just because like I've recovered a little bit. I mean, like tonight I'm going Netflix, I'm going Hulu, I'm watching some medieval crap, you know what I mean? I just need to like escape to another world and
Yeah.
get out of this football crap. You know what I mean?
Yes. I agree with you. I'm not sure what I'm gonna watch, but it's gonna be something else.
Yeah, you
Well,
got to. You got to.
well, team. So listen,
All right.
it's we appreciate everybody joining us. I think we've beat this one to death. We'll continue to beat it to death. Probably a little bit more, but honestly, as we look forward, you know, on the sports porch, we'll be talking a lot of Flyers, a lot of Sixers. We got spring training coming up here. Probably in the next.
Hopefully the Phillies can make a splash. Maybe get Bo Bichette. Maybe, please.
Yeah, but we'll look forward to talking to everybody on Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, for the Sports Porch. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We will drop this podcast after the show, and please get it wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Spotify or Apple or, well, I don't know, where else do people get podcasts these days? Grand Schwabini.
iHeartRadio
iHeartRadio.
or
Yeah.
anywhere you get your flippin' podcasts.
You're flipping
All right, Rube, we
podcasts.
finally hit 100 folks watching. We appreciate you. Now comes the hard work and the reason why you turn to the guys at the Sports Porch, because come Tuesday, we will begin our dissection into the roster. And that is what I just love, planning for the future. And beyond that, we just have so much more to share with you all, including our regular segment of what we're watching. So you can be able to figure out good things to watch all year long, and we never disappoint. So for Rube, I'm the Grand Schwalbini. Thanks for watching. We wish you a better evening and a better week ahead. Just remember, there's always next year. I don't know.
I was waiting for something really prophetic,
do
but we got something pathetic instead.
Do I leave folks with the fight song, or do we just not have the? Do we not? Can we just not do it this time because it's just too much?
I think it's too much. I think we just got to end the show and say, everybody, thank you for watching, and we'll see everybody again on Tuesday evening. Thanks so much.
Yep. All right. Peace out.